We are going to see about the simple principle of lever and what is meant by lever. A lever is a rigid rod or bar capable of turning about a fixed point called as fulcrum, and this fulcrum point is a reference point about which the lever is going to turn up. This lever is used to lift a load by application of small effort. In our applied mechanics, we have already studied mechanical advantage, which is the ratio of load upon effort. The lever types. One by one, we'll see different types of. Look at the picture. In that, this is the first type of lever. F is the fulcrum point, about which the A and B point can rotate. Here you can see A is the point which is at L1 distance, B is the point at L2 distance, and there is a fulcrum point or the turning point which is at F. At A there is a load applied, and at B there is a effort applied. So here the fulcrum point is at the center. So this is first kind of lever in which fulcrum point is at center, right side load, left side effort. Come to the second type. In the second type, the fulcrum point is at the right side, extreme right side. The load is at L1 distance and effort is at L2 distance. Here, the distance L2, effort distance, is greater than the load distance L1. So this is one kind of second kind of lever. The third kind of lever is shown in the figure, in which the fulcrum point is again at the right side, but now you can look at L2 distance there is an effort applied, whereas load is at L1 distance which is greater than L2 distance. So these are the three different types of lever. In our day-to-day application, you'll find such type of different levers in our pliers, in our scissors, in our simple vegetable cutters. So in which you'll find there is a fulcrum point about which other two linkages are rotating. The effort is applied at particular point and the load is applied at particular point. So same way, the lever is also having structural types. So in this, you'll find that the single lever is a very single application lever in which only one hand is there. The double lever is having there is a two arms at the either side of the center fulcrum point. Whereas when two arms are having some angle in between, so such type of lever is called as a bell crank lever. So according to structure also, there is a three types of lever: single lever, double lever and bell crank lever. In our day-to-day application, you can find different application of these different types of lever. Now let us go further. Look at that simple problem in which find effort required at B to lift a load when the load of 20 Newton is kept at A. So here is a simple lever in which you will find that there is a fulcrum point at a distance of 20 from load A, and there is an effort at a distance of 80 from effort which is at point B. The load of 20 Newton is applied at A. So how we can find the effort required? So it's a very simple moment relationship. We can take moment about the fulcrum point so that you can get the equation of simple left hand side moments and right hand side moment. So for equilibrium, both the moment should be same. So equate the moment about the fulcrum point, the load multiplied by length L1 equal to effort multiplied by length L2. Here the load is 20 at a distance of 20 units equal to effort, which is we have to find, multiplied by 80 distance is the distance from fulcrum point to effort. So effort equal to 20 into 20 divided by 80, which comes out 5. Here you can see that to lift the load of 20 Newton, which is very bigger, but the effort required is only 5 Newton, as the length of that lever from fulcrum point to the effort is greater than the length of the uh, lever from load to the fulcrum point. Let us look at one more. Find the value of R. Here you will find that there are two loads 25 and 50, which are placed at a distance of 40 and 80 from fulcrum point. There is a R, which is effort. We can say it is effort which is at a 80 distance from the fulcrum point. So if I want to again find the value of R, we can equate the moment about the fulcrum point. So there are two loads 25, which is at the distance of 80. So first moment is 25 into 80, plus there is one more moment, which is again the moment is having clockwise or anti-clockwise nature. The moment created by 25 and 50 is in anti-clockwise direction with reference to fulcrum point. So they should be equated to the moment which is created by R, which is clockwise moment. So 25 into 80 is the first moment, plus 50 into 40 is the second moment, which is equal to R into 80 distance from the fulcrum point. So that gives us R, which is 50 units. So by this way, we can find the value of effort required for a particular uh, levers. So again, let us go further. In the lever, generally the lever is supported by shafts. Here, find the diameter of the shaft at XX, which is subjected to 10 Newton, having torsional permissible shear stress of 40 megapascal. So in this figure, you can look at this particular axis distance. So that can be possible by using simple line. So here, if I say this is the line which is a section XX at which the diameter D is there. Okay, so here you can find that the diameter at XX is subjected to force of 10 Newton, having torsional permissible shear stress of 40 megapascal. Now, if in such a simple lever where the 10 Newton is placed at 200 mm from the axis of shaft having diameter D, which we have to find, is subjected to twisting. So how it can be fail? So just if I try to go for a twisting, so there is a creation of torque. Because of this torque, there is a torsional action inside the shaft which is placed at section XX. So here torque is equal to 10 Newton multiplied by 200 mm distance. So 2000 Newton mm can be a torque on the shaft which is having diameter D. So let us go further. Now here again, when the shaft is subjected to torque or twisting moment, torsional shear stress induced in the component. Obviously, because of the torque, there is a twisting. There is a torsional shear stress. Now, we know that there is a equation in which there is a equation relationship between torsional shear stress and the torque. So look at the equation which is already we have studied in strength of material. Tau by R. Tau is the torsional shear stress. R is the radius of the shaft equal to torque T divided by J. J is the polar moment of inertia. So here the torque which is given to the shaft can rotate the shaft along x-axis as well as y-y axis. That's why the polar area moment of inertia is the summation of area moment of inertia about x-axis plus area moment of inertia about y-axis. So J, polar moment of inertia, is Ixx plus Iyy equal to C theta by L. So C is the torsional rigidity, theta is the angle of twist, and L is the length. Here, the first two part of the equation are important for us here. So, from the first two part, just manipulation of that particular first two part of the equation, tau equal to, we can write torque divided by J by R, whereas J by R, which is section modulus, so it is called as polar section modulus. So shear stress equal to torque divided by polar section modulus for the twisting moment which create torsional shear stress in the component. So here already I have explained all the notations. So tau is the torsional shear stress, R is the radius, T is the torque, J is the uh, moment of inertia about Ixx and Iyy. C is modulus of rigidity, L is the length, theta is angle of twist, and Zp is the polar section modulus. So what is polar section modulus? Let us look at the picture. You will find that generally shafts are having section like circular or hollow. So circular cross section having diameter d or radius d by 2, or the uh, hollow section having external diameter d1 and internal diameter d2 can be a common sections which are available for the shaft. Now, area moment of inertia for the circular cross section can be Ixx and Iyy. Ixx equal to pi d to the power of 4 divided by 64. Similarly, Iyy is having same equation. So if I add together, then we'll get summation of these two. So polar area moment of inertia, that can be pi d to the power of 4 divided by 32. Or if I take polar section modulus, then I have to divide this by t. So if I divide that by t, then polar section modulus becomes pi dq by 16. Similarly, we can go for a hollow cylinder also. For the hollow cylinder, Ixx and Iyy can be like this. So if I add together, it becomes J, which is pi d1 to the power of 4 minus d2 to the power of 4 divided by 32. It is a hollow cylinder, so we have to consider d1 and d2 external and internal diameter. So if I again divide it by R, so in the hollow cylinder, the maximum diameter is d1, so d1 divided by 2 will be the radius. So if I take d1 divided by 2 and if I divide that by J, then we'll get polar section modulus of hollow cylinder, which comes out Zp pi by 16 d1 to the power of 4 minus d2 to the power of 4 divided by d1. So from this polar section modulus, there is a polar section modulus of our solid cylindrical shaft is Zp equal to pi dq by 16, whereas for the hollow cylinder it becomes Zp is equal to pi by 16 d1 to the power of 4 d2 to the power of 4 divided by d1. So just this is also a revision. We can say that in our equation tau equal to torque divided by Zp, we can directly write there Zp equal to pi dq by 16. So from this we can get a simple equation. Whenever there is a twisting of shaft, whenever there is a torsional shear stress induced, we can have a simple relationship. T is equal to tau into pi by 16 dq. So you remember this equation in the future so that you can have a simple relationship for this particular shaft which is subjected to twisting moment. Now look at our again problem. In this problem, torque is there, so we have to find the diameter d. So now again take the same equation. T is equal to tau pi dq by 16. So in this we know that torque is 10 into 200, which is 2000 Newton mm, which is equal to allowable shear stress. Allowable permitted shear stress is 40 multiplied by pi dq by 16. From this we can get the value of diameter of that shaft. So it becomes 7 mm. So by this way, you can get a simple torsional shear stress equation for any component which is subjected to twisting. So this is about simple shaft, simple lever which is having shaft which is connected and subjected to torsional shear stress. Now, by using these fundamental things, by using this fundamental equation, we can solve any of the problem in which you will get there is a lever, different kinds of lever like hand lever or foot lever or any other kind of lever. So here we'll stop here. This is the fundamental of our lever.